everyone, I'm Caroline and welcome to my home on the hillside here in Wales. And today I'm going to show you my art journal. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is there's something particular I want to tell you about because of the way I use my art journals. Now, you love crafting and maybe you don't have any more space to put those things you make into your home anymore. And you're thinking, oh, I really want to make craft, but I really genuinely have nothing to do with them. And that's where an art journal like this, or craft journal, can come in very handy, because when I used to do my art journal, it was always pretty much flat with the odd little bit of 3-dimension in it. And then occasionally I've made thicker ones, but this time I've gone bonkers. And the reason is I've been on holidays and I really wanted to craft. But it's pointless making craft on holidays. I didn't have room in the car to bring anything big home. So I decided I was going to use my art journal for it. So let's have a look. This one has taken me a very long time to do. This was started on the 20th of October 2021. Turn that up there, and I used some lovely pictures that Phyllis, my friend, had sent me, and lots of little sayings and things. I had some leaves here. These are false leaves, so I glued these on, and there's all information about birds on this page. And as you can see, quite flat, quite sensible, and it's the way I would have liked to have gone on, but then I just can't resist sticking things in. So this is a page I made on autumn, and I put buttons on. Well, still quite reasonable. You know, you could be forgiven for that. A couple of little bits of bling. It's getting a bit thick here with these leaves, but still mainly, I would say, art rather than craft. Possibly. I'm not quite sure how you would define it. And then I made this one with candy, and I've got a little scrunched up. This is actually a scrunched up piece of gauze. I put this Dove Craft 3D Pearls effect on here. The only thing is it takes forever to dry. I think it's finally dry now. And this was made last year. And that got stuck to the page over on there. I don't know if you can see. And pulled some of the glue of this off. So these things do need such a long time to dry. I wouldn't use them in my journal again, I don't think. They were a nightmare. Turning over the page. Now look how flat and sensible this is. I just used a little bit of colour pencil and then wet it and stuck some silliness on it. So you've got a man and a bulldog riding a motorbike spaceship, and she's going, oh look, it's a motorbike spaceship. The bird's going, what? I know, very silly, but it amused me. And I decided to try something a little bit more technical looking, almost space age, futuristic. Something stuck on there. I came up with this. So there is no sense to this at all. It's pointless you looking for a meaning. Well, you might find a meaning, but I don't have a meaning. I was just having fun, and I was covering up something that I didn't like anyway. So I thought that worked really well. Filled a page in my journal, and it took me a while to make, but it was very relaxing because there was no stress on me. I thought, well, I can't ruin this page. It's pretty awful anyway, and I think it improved it. And then we got this one with a bear trying to hide behind a tree very unsuccessfully. And there's a beehive. And I got this inspiration from a fortune cookie. And inside it said, he that can have patience can have what he will. So I put the bear, and the bear's trying to get some honey, but he's waiting for the best time to do it. Oh, now this was just, I wanted a picture saying my huge haul. So I drew that in, and I forgot that was in this. We'll just turn that over. And now we're starting to get a little bit more adventurous with the 3-dimensional aspect. I got some boxes and bits of magazines and things, made leaf shapes, folded them in half to make them a bit 3-dimensional, and then put some white paint around the edges, some white acrylic, and made a Christmas tree. And I used some yellow lace for a star, and then Christmas tree on Christmas Day. A celebration of Christmas. We got some snow, whoops, there, which is just a bit of fur fabric. And one mushroom that I cut in half. Oh, they've been squashed. This poor book is so heavy it squashes itself now. Then I decided to try making some faux wood. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed this. This is pizza boxes. And I cut them up and glued them 3 deep. And then I did a wood effect on there. This is just the paper on the background. And I painted it over with a dark colour. Put some white on, and then I scraped with the end of my paintbrush to make it look like planks. This is just a little bit of garland and some bows, and that I cut off some sort of ready meal tin. I cut that off and made a little nail. This started me thinking, oh, I think I could start doing some much more 3-dimensional things in here. So I did. Look at this. It's more wood effect again. More pizza boxes. And I made a little cabinet. You can see the drawer is sort of pulled out. And you can see all the things that are in the drawer. And some things on the shelves. I absolutely loved making this. It took me about 2 days here and there, bits and pieces, because I had to paint things, dry things, glue them. But I really, really enjoyed making that. And it does look a little bit like a dresser. If I had my time again, I'd put something that looked like wood on the background. But I didn't. But I still love it. And it could be a dresser with open shelves anyway, couldn't it? So we'll go for that. And again, all the berries and the oranges and the cinnamon sticks, the little cubes, all really give this a 3-dimensional look. And now I enjoy that. I like doing flat 2-dimensional things as well, but there's something about 3-dimensional, probably because I love crafting and I am a crafter. And as I say, if you don't have much space, you can make something like this. You can make a dresser and it just fits in your book. So that is a very practical way of expressing your crafting creativity without taking up too much space. And you can even put this in a frame if you wanted to later and hang it on the wall. Now this, I was sent lots of little strips of paper by Charlotte, and so I used all these to make this like log cabin effect. I'd done a mandala, I painted, I suppose, a mandala. That was my first ever mandala. I wanted to use it, I wanted to put it in the book so that I could remember it. And so I put these little bits, this is like one of those yarns that you use to make fluffy scarves. I used that, little bow, papers, and my mandala. And look at this, that was on a thing, Miss Caroline. So I put that in, and I love that. It's very colourful and very crafty looking. I have a book full of little sayings, and I decided, right, I'm going to just pull one out and use that to inspire my craft for the day. And it was, life's too short to say no to cake. And look at all these. I just love the candy colours on this. This was such fun to make. The background was just a treat. It was perfect for what I wanted. And I love all these little cutouts along here. They're cardboard, but they look like little thumbtacks. Only pretty thumbtacks. And some hearts down here as well. As you can see, I'm still in a fat theme, not a thin, slim, 2-dimensional theme. So we've got lots of layers. I love this lace here. And then some paper with some cork on, with some wooden tiles on saying love, and a bow, and more lace, buttons. It's really bringing out the 3-dimensional look. And I got this, this is from Thursday, November the 8th, 1979. It's a vintage newspaper cartoon. Love is a cosy feeling in the heart. So I coloured it in browns and pinks very vaguely and aged it a little bit more so it all fitted in and hung together, because it did look a little bit stark compared to all the other bits. And this doily, you can see I added a little bit of aging on that too, just with a little bit of brown ink. You could use watered down acrylic paint if you don't have brown ink. It'll do the same job. Or even a little bit of coffee, very strong coffee. Paint that one. Now this again was something that somebody sent me. So many of you have sent me such lovely things that inspire me, and a lot of them are in this book. You may well see something you sent me. There were these napkins had 2 or 3 of this image repeated, and then up the top as well. So I cut out the one section here, decided to finish it off. So that isn't mine, and that is. Now that doesn't look particularly good, but when you combine the two, the way this was done so well and professionally makes this look more professional. I just love it. And it was fun trying to join it up and to come up with the same style for the whole thing. If I had my time again, I think I would have done something that really tied along on a diagonal to tie it all together. But I still think, because of these wiggly bits, it holds together as a whole image. And I decided to do something mechanical. I've just been fancying doing mechanical things sometimes, and I've got some wonderful cogs that somebody sent me, so I can use those on mechanical type images. And I don't know what you call this. It's almost an installation, isn't it, rather than an art piece? It is multimedia, but it's so deep. And I've got some crazy wire here, and it's attached to, well, this is some sort of levelly thing. I'm not sure what you call it. We've got some buttons. There's another button with some sticks come out that looks like a cog that's driving this, which is turning a turbine. I know, I'm not very technically minded, but it seemed to make a little bit of sense. And that's the thing with art. It hasn't got to make sense. And especially when you're doing art for yourself. As long as you like it, it doesn't matter. I had some more things that I was sent. And I had this was off, I can't remember what was in it now. Some embellishment or other. And it was in like a plastic fronted pot. So I took the cardboard backing off, cut it down to size. And it had a little edge. Rather than cut that off, I used that to glue it on and then put some twine around to hide it. Little butterfly, as usual, and some flowers, and they all just went together so easily. I didn't have to even think very much about this one. It was so relaxing because it just all fell together. You get that sometimes you're struggling to make something look complete. Other times, it's just so easy. This is one of those rub-on transfer things. It really does sit well on this piece of paper. You'd never know that it wasn't printed on the paper. And I got this little tag thing, so you can use that as a page turner, but I put a little bee on there too. It's another one of those rub-on transfers. And one of a kind. And again, do you recognise anything on here? I know somebody does. If they were all facing the same direction, it'd be so much easier to show you these things, but they're not. So it's very awkward. So here we've got my lady with butterfly hair. Now, so many people have sent me wonderful butterflies, and I can use a couple at a time, but I really wanted to do something that was really massed with butterflies. So I was thinking, I know, butterfly hair. So I did this, and I thought, I've got so many butterfly stickers, I'll be fine. But it's just ate them up. I was amazed at just how many it took. But then I've just had another package of butterfly stickers, so I've managed to fill in the last of the gaps, and she's done. Put a little butterfly on her neck, and this was the 7th of May 22. I made this peacock out of some gold paper that somebody had sent me. This was a piece of paper somebody sent me, and then I just cut out some peacock shaped feathers. They look like leaves, but they're feathers, and then a peacock, and I made the peacock and then put backing of gold around him. Then on top I used my blue gel pen that somebody else had sent me and did a little bit of decor, so now it's really shimmery. Oops, something's creaking. And then I got this. I had some papers that I'd made with my jelly plate, and I really liked these patterns, but I wasn't sure what to do with them. I didn't want to completely cover them, so I thought, I'll make a quilt. So I just cut them up into squares and did lots of little stitches with a black pen, a fine liner, put some ribbon around the outside to edge it, and just wrote the word quilt. Because I didn't have anything on me that said the word quilt. I was away at the time, so I just wrote it out. I fancy trying a little bit of acrylic. I usually paint with watercolours. I used to paint solid things with acrylic or backgrounds, but I thought, let's have a try. And it didn't go as well as I would have hoped, but it's still, I like it. I like the colours, and it gave me a lot of pleasure while I did it. So that's all that matters. These are supposed to be buttercups. Whoa, look at those gigantic stems on those buttercups. These are supposed to be dandelion clocks. But I like it, and again, that's all that matters, is that you like what you put in your sketchbooks or what craft or art that you make. I've had so many gorgeous stickers and papers given me. I really wanted to use them. I painted this background with some bricks so it looked like the wall of a cottage, and then I had this piece of paper. It's like three-dimensional, and it's a window, and they've got a chair and got watering can, wellies, and then these came on a separate sticker sheet. So I put these on. I've used some twine there. This was a green Christmas hat somebody sent me that I cut up to make leaves. And I think that is absolutely gorgeous. I love the colours on it. It's so summery. And again, it stores these sort of three-dimensional things in your sketchbook. But at any time, you can take that out, stick it in a frame, and it would look wonderful. Now, this was all based on this picture I had of this lady. It's in a newspaper from the 60s. And I just love the look on her and her face, her hairstyle. And decided, let's see what that inspires. I had a few bits and pieces, so live, smile and love, and stamp there, sticky on stamp, some fabric butterflies, and some ribbon, time and fun, because she looks like she's having fun. So this was a very sort of, oh yes, time passes, we all have to live and smile and love. But you've got to have fun as well. So time and fun I put down there. And I just think that works really well together. And this is a gorgeous fabric on the background. And these little daisies here, they remind me a little bit of Mary Quant daisies, which would then tie in with sort of 60s, 70s. And then I wanted to make something completely bananas in this journal, and I did. I got a piece of cardboard and wove this basket, and there's a little handle on it. I made some of these rosette flowers from some scraps of fabric, and then I went and found some little bits of twigs, and this is a conifer. I don't know how long it's going to stay looking green, but I don't mind. And put all that in. And I think that looks absolutely lovely. I put this down as a little bit of a doily type, you know, something to protect the table. And the table, I've kept the background as simple as possible. I could have painted like a wallpaper decoration on it or something, but I wanted this to be the feature. And I absolutely fell in love with this. As I was making it, it was like, oh yes, this beautiful colour combination, the red with the ivory and the natural colours and the green. Just, for me, I thought it was all coming together wonderfully. And then I went even more bonkers. As with the last one, I was away in France, so I had to make do with what I could. So I found a few little twigs and I built this window. There's some gingham fabric curtains there, and then there's a window box. And I bought something at the French brocante, and it had Bonne Fête Maman on it, which is Happy Mother's Day. So I decided, well, I'll stick that on because it's sort of Mother's Day theme, and it'll remind me that I was in France when I made this. So first of all, I stuck this on, and then I painted the bricks afterwards because I didn't want bricks behind. I suppose I could have darkened this in some ways, but I don't know. I like the white contrasting against all the bright colours, so I'm happy with it. And it was just a matter of making the window shape, then layering up some twigs, and then I put in these florals I bought from the French brocante too. So it's all very French. And if you look very carefully, you can see some little bows on the curtains behind. Again, you could take that out and frame it. You've got some instant art if you need it. More stickers that I've been sent by people, and I've had this bit of gingham sent me, and I do love gingham. So I thought, right, I'm going to make a bunch of flowers that are wrapped in gingham. How pretty is that? Look at these little flowers with bits of bling in. I hold those close to the camera, see if you can see them. They're beautiful. And these are like three-dimensional cardboard flowers. This was a rub-on transfer that said bloom that went a little bit wrong. I think the rub-on transfers that I bought are a little bit old because they wouldn't come off the transfer paper. So I'm rubbing and rubbing. Eventually I managed to sort of peel them as well. So I don't think they're very well. So this is like a shoelace. I pulled the middle out, cut it into bits, frayed it, and popped it in. And I thought it looks like foliage. Look at that. Being on holidays when you're doing crafting is really difficult. You have to be very resourceful because you can't take all of your craft items with you. So here I use some cardboard, and this is green twine that I glued onto the front. Some buttons I brought along with me. Some twine for bows. These are lollipop sticks because we bought ourselves lollipops. It was so hot in France, and then I stained them up and used them as tree trunks. We also bought a box of eggs, and now you may recognise the pots. They're just cardboard egg boxes cut up. And some little tags that I put on here that I brought with me. And a piece of backing paper too. And I like this because it had the flowers but faded away to nothing. So it does almost look like they're flowers on the ground, but it's against the sky. This took a long time to do, but it was so enjoyable. For some reason, I find it very therapeutic to glue twine onto things. So any excuse. And I love that. And it really pads out my journal a lot again. But then it came to the last day of my holidays, and I really wanted to finish this journal while I was on holidays, and I couldn't think of anything. Nothing was inspiring me. And then I thought, I did bring some of my snippet rolls because I wanted to use those up. I've had them in my drawer for ages. And then I thought, let's make a snippet roll collage. So these were in strips. There's 1, 2, 3. So I chopped them off to be the right length. I then glued a few things over the edges to tie them in, because otherwise they just look like 3 separate rows. So by linking from one to another, by putting diagonal things on, it does make it hold together better. This lace was on the end of the snippet roll, so I can use these as page turners. A little bit of grey lace I had from a top from the charity shop for £1. There's loads of lace on it. It wasn't a very nice top, but the lace was brilliant. And I thought that made a fitting end. I added this little bit of fringe down here that I had a little bit of fringe. I've made several sketchbooks and journals. I'll put a link up there for a playlist with all those videos on. So if you want to see more of my journaling and sketchbooks, then it'll be over there. Check it out. When I started, I wasn't very good. I came from Stickman, and I've just been working and improving over the years. So if you want to go right back to sketchbook 1, it's very basic, but you might enjoy. If you're thinking of starting art, then don't let it put you off that you're not very good, because the only way to get better is to carry on practicing. And I think that the hours I put in really has made a difference, even at my age. So don't think you're too old. You're never too old to learn something new. I'll see you all next time, but until then, don't forget, have fun. Bye.